Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got a video today from Timcast.
Actress Halle Berry is upset with Gavin Newsom. See, there was a bill that would guarantee health care, or at least require insurance companies to provide health care for menopausal, and I think it's called perimenopausal women, like they're going through these symptoms. Well, Newsom vetoed the bill. And for this, Halle Berry is slamming Newsom, saying he shouldn't be president. This is feminism coming home to roost.
Right.
It is a chaotic and destructive force that maybe had some noble origins early in the day, but don't go anywhere productive. And now we are seeing feminism implode right before our eyes. Not just because Gavin Newsom's in trouble for not giving these women what they will continually ask for, but because people don't want to work with women. Men don't want to mentor women.
Nope.
Young men don't want to study under female professors.
Nope.
Young men don't want to approach women. Birth rates are declining. Everyone's pissed off. None of this was a good idea.
Nope.
Now, I suppose if you go back in time, everything starts with noble intentions. You take a look at women's
hell is paved with noble intentions.
right to vote. You say, hey, not every woman is married. Women need to be able to buy products and exist in the workplace and all of these things. Sure, women did have jobs back in the day, but typically the way society worked was that the man as the head of the household was the one responsible for the vote. The vote represented his family. He'd be the one primarily making the money, and women were caretakers and the creators of families. Slowly over time with industrialization, our society decided that women should work too, and they should work every job. And this big boom happened largely in the 70s. Now you've got the trend of feminist girl bosses. Women can do everything, they can have it all. And the end result is this mess. This mess. A mess everywhere. Jordan Peterson brought it up years ago and got roasted for it, but he was correct. He said, men and women in the workplace has been a disaster. He was interviewed by Vice, and they said, what do you mean it's a disaster? And he says,
it wasn't bad when women had their own jobs and careers that women kind of did with, and then men did their own thing. And then when we combined them into one gender reveal, I guess, is when things kind of got out of hand because we just work differently. We're so different creatures, especially in the workplace.
look at the sexual harassment lawsuits. It is the Me Too phenomenon. However you want to put it. Women being victimized, if that's your perspective. Men being falsely accused, if that's your perspective. Yeah. And this experiment is somewhere around 50 years old. Certainly you had back 70 years ago, female secretaries and things like that.
Correct.
But now we are in this space where everyone is just pissed. And the funny thing is, social order is breaking down. Now, it's not just this Halle Berry feminism thing. Take a look at this from the New York Times. Did liberal feminism ruin the workplace? And if so, can conservative feminism fix it?
Wait, there's a conservative feminism now? And there's a liberal feminism? They broke off? Oh, they hate each other.
Well, my friends, no, I don't think so.
I actually don't think so either.
I think the issue is feminism.
Because feminism is just rooted in man-hating ideology.
It's not congruent, as we describe it today, with modern society. So we don't need you to autoplay anything, you garbage New York Times. But I appreciate they're finally writing this, and people are starting to wake up to what's really going on. Let me read this for you. I also have an essay where maybe it's fake, but it's an essay that was published online that got a lot of attention from someone claiming to be a female gender studies professor and talking about how they're having an emotional breakdown because men are basically saying, we don't want to do anything with women because y'all are nuts. Guys are scared of going to...
When I first started making videos and got into this niche, I was a little bit like, man, why is all men just like that, right? Why are we so like... Now I understand. I fully understand why. It makes total sense to me. That's why when I was like, oh, MGTOW, I maybe don't agree with everything. Now I look at MGTOW and I'm like, you guys are MGTOW? More power to you. If you want families, I also say like, more power to you. But before I was just like, man, why wouldn't men want to fight to be able to be in relationships or be with women or things like that. No, like, women are just miserable.
Jail, having their reputations destroyed. They can't be in the same room as women because they'll get accused.
Yep.
Heavens me. That's where we're at today. And if the issue is an accusation is enough to destroy you, guys are like, I ain't going to spend any time alone with anyone. Here's the New York Times. They say, Ross Duthot, below is an edited transcript of an episode, Interesting Times, says men and women are different. That is a core premise of conservatism in the age of Trump, that liberalism and feminism have come to grief by pretending that the sexes are the same.
Yep.
But what does that difference really mean? Should the right be trying to roll back the entire feminist era? Yes. Anyway, he goes on to say,
I wouldn't say the entire feminist era, but there's 99, maybe 95% of it, yeah.
Or is there a form of conservative feminism that corrects liberalism's mistakes? My guest this week, Helen Andrews and Leah Labresco-Sargent, are both conservative writers, critics of feminism, but they have a very different view of what a right-wing politics of gender should look like. Indeed. Well, here's what I did. What do I have here? Okay, here it is. I pulled up a transcript of this essay from a women's studies professor. I don't know if it's real. I tried to find the source for it. I couldn't find the source for it. And that's why I transcribed it from a YouTube video. But
I mean, nowadays with AI and everything, it is hard to tell if what's real or not, isn't it?
it does speak to the perception. And the reason why I want to show you just some of this, and again, take it all with a grain of salt, is because I know that many of you will actually see things in here, especially you young men, where you will say, that's exactly what's happening.
Yep.
When I read through this, was listening to the transcription, and then read through it, I thought to myself, we like the answer. I thought to myself, not all of this I can prove to be true or correct, but a lot of it I've personally seen myself and is backed up by the data. So perhaps it's just fake internet stuff, as it always is. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't use this as a primary source, but anything in here, fact check and see if there's data to back up these claims. That being said, this essay was reportedly written by a 45-year-old professor of women's studies at a state university, spending 23 years creating spaces where women could speak without interruption. She goes on to say, she never screamed at men. She never insulted them. She thought that she was being reasonable and rational. It used to be that male students would occasionally challenge readings, create discussion, and mansplain, but at least engage. Now, the 7 guys in my class of 30 just sit there. They take notes. They turn in assignments. They say nothing. She goes on to say that finally she went to someone and she asked him, saying, I noticed none of the men are participating. He does this weird smile that doesn't reach his eyes, says it's probably better if he just listens and learns, and thanks me for my time and leaves. Something about the interaction bothers me for days. She talks to a sociology department colleague. He gets this look on his face that he's been waiting for someone to notice something. Says he's been tracking enrollment and behavior patterns for a paper. Says male enrollment for courses taught by women has dropped by 17% over 6 years. In courses specifically about gender, sexuality, or women's topics, male enrollment is down 32%. Participation rates among enrolled men down even more dramatically. Office hours visits from male students to female faculty down 41%. He shows me survey data he's been collecting. One survey response from a 23-year-old engineering student wrote, he wanted to take a class on gender and literature because the books are interesting, decided against it because he couldn't risk saying the wrong thing, having it interpreted as threatening or ignorant, becoming an example of what not to do. Ooh. A business major described being interested in a female professor's research, wanted to ask about mentorship, but didn't because, this is funny, he didn't want to put either of them in that position he called it, like meeting with a professor was a dangerous situation to avoid. Of course it is. Nowadays, these young guys are going to get falsely accused and they know it. Or something they do will be interpreted incorrectly.
And these men are just doing what men do. Avoiding risk, right? They're avoiding risk for themselves because they know it might not happen, but the possibility of ruining my life is so high that I'm not willing to do anything. Remember, men are the most risk-adverse creatures out there. We just need to know what's the risk.
And they got to deal with it. And it's going to ruin their reputations and their lives. She says it's one data set, but she pays attention. She notices her teaching assistant, a female grad student, gets way more questions during her office hours than she does. Male students line up to ask her things they could ask me, but they bring it to her. Trying to sound casual, she hesitates, then admits male students have told her they feel more comfortable asking her questions. When she asks why, she seems more approachable or they don't want to bother me. University implements mandatory mentorship program for junior faculty. Department chair quietly tells me that 3 different early career men requested male mentors specifically. When pressed, they gave vague reasons about similar research interests. But their research interests aligned more closely with mine than with the men they requested. The chair looked tired when he told me this, like he's been managing these invisible tensions for a while. Go to department mixer, try to network.
Yeah, women don't even know what men are doing. Like this is how ignorant women are. Like even in the field itself, even in education, they don't even know what's going on and what people or men around them are tippy-toeing around them doing, because they're so miserable to deal with. And they're so scared of the pushback and the tension that women are going to cause them.
Work with new male faculty hire. Conversation is polite, professional, and brief. He positions himself so we're visible from multiple angles, doesn't step closer when the room gets loud and we can't hear each other, maintains this careful distance. It's deliberate. Contrast it with how he talks to male colleagues, the relaxed, laughing, and standing close. The ease of it. Yeah. Every boss, every new hire,
The boys ain't going to accuse me of anything.
every young Gen Z guy knows that if I put it like this, because we talked about it for years. Let me give you the scenario, ladies and gentlemen. A guy walks in to his office and he sees another guy in a slick new suit and he's dropped weight. He's been working out. His arms are bigger.
My
And he goes,
man.
whoa, Jim, looking good, brother. You lose weight? You've been working out? That outfit is fantastic. My man's got swagger and style.
My
You're
man.
looking great, brother. Pats him on the shoulder and says, whatever you're doing, keep it up. No problem there, right?
Nope.
Maybe a little gay, but
No, I don't think that was a gay interaction at all. I'm like, man, when I see a guy that used to be somewhat fat and then I see him kind of chiseled out a little bit or just lost weight, I'm like, my man.
well, not really, you know? Okay, let's try a woman. There's Janet. She lost some weight. She's wearing a very nice dress. And the man walks in and goes, whoa, Janet, looking good. You lose weight? Wow, that outfit. Looking gorgeous. Pats her on the shoulder. Bro, that guy is getting fired in 2 seconds. He's being accused of sexual harassment like that. Ain't no way a guy is going to do that. Bro, in sports, guys pat each other on the butts. Good luck. Co-ed NFL. Yeah, everyone's going to be hiding in the corner. So here we go. The essay goes on saying rates of young men reporting having no close friends is up dramatically. Emotional isolation metrics through the roof. Cross-cultural data showing this pattern across multiple Western countries.
Yes.
Find research about men's support groups. The conversation's happening there. Themes of fear, withdrawal, calculated risk avoidance. They describe every interaction with women as potential threat to their education, career reputation. Describe the running cost benefit
I mean, how many students have been falsely accused of doing horrible acts? Whole lacrosse team, a whole bunch of other. I'm horrible at remembering some of these stories, but so many men lost their scholarships, lost their livelihoods, lost their careers,
analysis of
their
simple
futures.
human interaction. I should publish this full essay. I think I will. I think I'll post it on X or something for people to read. And I want to stress, I have not been able to vet this. I don't know who wrote it. It was in a video where an AI voice was reading it from a 4chan green text. But
Okay.
while it may be fiction, I know, as I'll say it again, and this is an important distinction, I see a reflection of my own experiences in this.
I do
and I
too.
know a lot of you do too, and that's probably why someone wrote it. It may be that it was not actually written by a gender studies or women's studies professor or anything like this. It may actually be the student, and they want credibility, but it's anonymous online, so they wouldn't need to do that unless they want it to be looked at as being credible. The point is this. Anybody who's got a problem with this, and I'm sure some of it may just be anecdotal,
Something.
you need only actually ask those questions. Come on. Let's see a poll. What do you guys think in the comments? Is this what you've experienced too?
Yes.
Because I have. They're going to say, and I skipped a lot of this because it was a 30-minute long video. Says attend required faculty training on preventing sexual harassment. Instruct on how to avoid any situation that could be misinterpreted. Don't meet with students behind closed doors. Don't communicate after hours. Don't develop friendships that could appear to show favoritism. Maintain professional distance at all time. Realizing giving instructions to everyone, now institutionalizing separation, didn't want, there's probably an error there. Making official policy that men and women can't be alone together because risk is too great. Formalize distrust. And that's feminism.
Yep.
They go on to mention, after class, Marcus finally comes to office hours, nervous and keeps apologizing, eventually asks about thesis developing. Good question, insightful, shows deep thinking about the material. Tell this, encourage to develop further. Looks relieved, but also sad somehow. Thanks for coming, say, wish more students engaged like this. Pause at door, turns back, says something that guts me. Says almost didn't come because didn't want to make uncomfortable. Says knows a lot of professors don't want to deal with male students one-on-one anymore. Says gets it and understands.
I'm sure there's a lot of female feminist professors that are probably hate male students. Female feminist professors probably hate male students and probably treat male students in such a way.
Why doesn't blame anyone, but says it's lonely trying to navigate college without mentorship, guidance, or real connection to faculty. Trying to figure out how to be a good person when every possible action seems fraught. Says most of friends have just given up on trying. Safer to keep head down, get degree, and get out.
Yes. That's how men feel about everything now. This is why MGTOW is a thing. Keep your head down. Don't even deal with women, and you're out.
It goes on. It's very interesting. It ends with saying that this person is crying. It wasn't supposed to be how it felt. It was supposed to be like victory. It feels like everyone is losing. Sit down and write essay I'll never publish. Title it, Men Went Silent Because of Us. Document everything I've found, everything I've realized. Write about intentions versus outcomes. Write about how the most conscious of men were affected. Write about how we filtered for worse behavior by making good behavior impossible. Write about loneliness and isolation and fear. Write about my own crisis of faith. Write about still believing in equality while recognizing we've created new inequality. Write about not knowing how to fix it. Finish essay and save it in a folder I'll never open. Too dangerous to share. Too important to delete. Testimony to unintended consequences. Evidence of damage we didn't mean to cause. Apology to a generation of young men we taught to despair. Taught to disappear. Confession that we got it wrong somehow, even while getting it right. Sit in dark office staring at screen. 45 years old, 23 years of feminist work. Countless students taught, dedicated life to making things better. Maybe did, maybe didn't, maybe both. Think about Marcus and Andrew and all the quiet men in my classes. Think about my son who doesn't date anymore. Think about my nephew who sits in the back and says nothing. Wonder if they'll ever speak up again, if any of us will. Men and women are different. There is no way to create equality because men and women are different. Men and women want different things. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, whatever. Women are subject-oriented, men are object-oriented. If you take these two opposing forces as part of the human experience and try to jam them into the same space, you will get conflict and you will get misery. You know, you look at this, and as I mentioned with the workplace story, men will compliment other guys on their appearances.
All the time.
Not even a question. Throughout my life, I have gained and lost weight. And I remember it happens all the time. Winter comes, get fat. Summer comes, get thin. Man, really got to just change my diet through the season for whatever reason. But I've had people say to me, wow, you're looking thin, Tim. You're looking great. I don't go, excuse me? That is a sexual come on. You are never invited. I go, oh, thank you. Appreciate it. But
I get you're looking tubby. I'm like, damn it, I know.
Here's the thing. Women are motivated by different things. If you've ever watched the Whatever podcast, holy smokes. That's not all women. You know, I got lucky. I found a wife who is very good. She's great. I don't got to worry about these things. But women still have very different motivations than men.
They do.
Women love babies way more than guys do. It's a fact. There's going to be a lot of guys out there be like, hey.
It used to be a fact. Nowadays, it's teetering on if it's a fact or not. Women don't like babies as much anymore.
Don't say that I love my kids. That's not fair. Guys, in general, if you were to map out, you know, ask the average man or woman, women will always score higher on loving kids. I'll put it like this. I'm a new dad, and we walk down the street with the stroller, and I love my daughter, and she's fantastic. and my wife does too. I honestly do think that my wife has a more powerful emotional reaction to my daughter than I do, even though I would say that my daughter is the most important person in the world. Nothing else matters.
Well, that just means she's emotional. Like, women are just a little bit more emotional and reactional. That's all.
When we walk down the street, women lose it. They go, oh my God, and they look at the baby. I'm in an
Again, Tim, I would say yes. Maybe back in the 90s, it used to be every woman. Nowadays, it's not the same.
elevator and a lady's leaning back to try and see the baby. Guys don't do that. They just don't. Now, don't get me wrong.
I can agree with him on this.
I'm in a restaurant, baby's yelling, and a guy looks over and he smiles and he makes a joke. And then he says, your child is gorgeous. Congratulations. Men care about kids too. If men and women didn't care about kids, we wouldn't have kids. Here's my point. While guys smile at kids, and they do love their children.
Dude, I love kids. I love it when I see a kid, like, especially, at the dinner table, and then he looks at me and then smiles. And I just like, he smiled at me.
Women gush over babies like celebrities. I was hanging out at some
good women
athlete's house. I may have told the story and said who this was, but I won't now, I guess. And my wife is sitting in the back with our baby, and a bunch of people walk in, and there's like a couple women and a couple men, and we're so it's this long, narrow room. She's in the back on the couch with the baby. I'm sitting at the bar talking to some athletes, and then all these people walk in. I introduce myself to all of them. The women immediately walk back to my wife and start talking about baby. The men are talking with me and the athletes about athletic stuff, about feats of action sports excellency. And then I looked over and I was like, guys, isn't this kind of funny? Like, the boys are all standing here talking about action sports, and there are the ladies surrounding baby. I think it's cute. I think it is beautiful. I love women. I love that they love kids. I love that this is their passion and their interest. Not all women, not always.
Yes.
We are not going to just jam men and women in the same space and think we're going to get a positive outcome. This is what's ended up happening. It is what it is. You know what I can do? I think I can take the link to this actual post, and you can just read the whole thing.
Did you see how men and women operate so differently? If it was women that were in this position, they would raise hell. They would be out in the streets protesting constantly how they're so scared of being able to approach professors and things like this. But look at men. Men, we just take it on the chin silently and just figure it out. Well, we can't see this or go through this. We're just going to have to do our best to go around this issue by shutting up. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.